I could not make an or confirm it on the announcements when I sent out the announcements for this meeting that Mike Andriano, the president of the PBA, and Bats would be here because they're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for drug raids. So Mike had told me about this when I talked with him to see if he could bring Mike or Vas. Well, I did talk to Vas too, but my point is that he made it, and I would like him to share his feelings on what he feels the police department can do. Vas and Mike, if you could take the podium, please. I don't think we should clap for Vas, but... Does he smell something peculiar?
I'll start by, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. I'm Mike Andriano. I'm a patrolman investigator with the Schenectady Police Department and also the president of the Schenectady Police Benevolent Association. This is Steve Warner. He's my vice president. We are basically, I listen to Frank Ducci talk. Frank Ducci's a very good friend of mine. Sometimes he makes me bad, but most of the time he's a very good friend of mine. And I heard him talk about the contract. Stevie and I are responsible for the contract. Portion of the contract I've been responsible for approximately 20 years. Stevie's fairly new. He's got 4, maybe 6 years into the association. And I want you to understand, because it's never been brought out, that our contract is a contract that's made up of 60 years of police work. It's not just this year and last year. It's when Frank was the mayor, when we had city manager forms of government. You cannot blame this contract on the Democrats or the Republicans. You have to blame it on good labor relations. The mayor is not solely responsible for the contract. Frank Ducci did not vote for this contract. I'm glad he didn't, because he pans it quite a bit. But he didn't vote for this one. What I'm saying is that we negotiate a contract as anybody who works for the GE negotiates their contract. They have people negotiate for them. We are a labor organization, not AFL-CIO. We're members of the Police Conference of New York, which is an affiliation of all police departments within the state of New York. We don't get support from AFL-CIO. When we pick it, or we do something, we do it strictly on our own amongst cops. That's all we have to look to, are cops. And the middle-class people who like cops. What I really want to say is the contract is not as bad as Frank Ducci makes it out to be. There are things in there, and the city and my police administration have the right. All they have to do is follow the guidelines of the contract. They have the right to do things within that contract to better themselves. To make a better police department, he says 95% of the cops are good cops. You're still there, right, Frank? I can't see behind me. I thought maybe you went out, like Dave Balda. Or Eddie Balda. 95% of the cops, if that 5% are bad, we, the union, say get rid of them. You see $10,000 missing, you see a cop picking locks, we're not in favor of that. We said right from the start, find out who took the $10,000, prosecute him as a criminal. Grand larceny, that's what it was. Prosecute him as a criminal. The individual who was picking the door lock, stealing from the locks, we refused to back him. I was told by the Human Rights Commission that I had to back him because he was a dues-paying member. He says, you presume he's guilty. I says, I saw him on tape. I know who he is. We are cops, you know. He wants to be defended, let him defend himself. We did not defend him. We wouldn't defend him. We didn't defend Arthur Chairs, David Chairs. We didn't defend Stanley Crook. We didn't defend Tommy Berger. I could give you a whole list that the paper doesn't even know about. Well, they know about, but they just didn't deem fit to print it at that time, you know, because I'll probably print it tomorrow. I'm a good one for you to talk about. I'm not politically oriented. I have nowhere to go. I'm where I want to be. I have nothing to gain. I'm better at answering your questions than really speaking. But let me do that. You throw the questions at me, let me talk to you about it.
This standardized up-and-coming system with the state of New York that Mr. Johnson mentioned earlier, what problems do you foresee as negotiating new contracts to comply with the state requirements, or does that become a factor at all?
I don't believe it'll become a factor at all. I don't believe, and I think the accreditation program is a fine thing for the Schenectady Police Department. I think it's good. I haven't read the whole thing. I've read a portion thereof, probably half. And what I've read, I think is good, and I think it's good for every police department in the state of New York. I think it's accountability is what it means. And we will be accountable. Everybody on the job will be accountable to somebody. And I think that's very, very important. I think it's a good thing. It's in preparing to get the accreditation where we may have the problem. But once we clean them up and we get it, I think we're going to do good. I don't foresee any problems at all. Sir?
What do you think about encouraging more civilians to come in and train up police officers for more honest and
Thank you. I heard Frank mention giving civilians the job of giving out parking tickets. We get crap from people when we give them parking tickets. And we wear a badge and a gun. What do you think would happen to you? If you were to give, I mean, people do not like to give tickets. I think it's a bad idea. Police enforce the laws. We have people like that also now, Mark. We have one that we've gotten calls to bail him out. They were going to beat him on not terrorists in front of the law offices of Di Lorenzo, Gordon, and somebody there. I remember that time. It's been a number of times. People do not like to get parking tickets. People do not like to get speeding tickets. That's why we're the bad guys all the time. It's easy to dislike a cop. Because the minute we turn you around, that's taking away somewhat of your freedom. By giving you a parking ticket, you don't want to pay that parking ticket. First thing that comes to their minds is, why aren't you out there catching the crooks? I can't, I'm doing the parking ticket. I'm writing the ticket. Once I get done here, I'll go out there. I think it's a bad idea. This gentleman back here had his hand up. Sure.
Yeah, you were talking about your union, your fellow officers that might have did something wrong and that you didn't represent them, although he was paying a union dues or whatever it is. Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of your union?
No, it does not. It does not, because he was charged with a criminal offense. Although he was in uniform, and although he was in a marked car, which I must say was my car, that used to be my car, and I was embarrassed that it was my car that night. He paid his dues, but he was charged with grand larceny, which is a felonious crime. He was put on TV. George Roman is the one that said I should defend him. And he says, if that man comes to me, I'll take his case. I said, good, go for broke. And do a good job, because you're going to make me look good. He committed a crime. What I'm trying to say is he committed a crime against the state and the people.
Okay, that's true, but the fact is he's a union member.
That's right.
Automatically, even though he's wrong, your union by right still should represent him, even though they might not want to.
He was not charged departmentally. He wasn't charged departmentally. He was charged civilly for a felonious crime. He didn't commit a crime against, or he didn't do anything against the city of Schenectady as per se, against his job. But he was in uniform. Does that make him? No, it's not.
He was civil. Okay, little differences in the city. All right, but if you're in uniform, as far as I feel, all right, your union's your union, and I got a union too. But the fact is that if you are still a 24-hour patrolman, regardless if you're on or off duty, and that automatically still means you're a part of that union, and that union, even though you say it's nothing to do with you, but it's still a union member who should be
represented by the union?
Regardless of that.
I totally disagree with your philosophy. Totally disagree with it.
You should automatically, even though you don't win the case, but you still have to fight for it.
No.
It doesn't make the union fail. It doesn't. They still have to fight for their officers. What is the sense of having a union if you're not going to do it? What's the sense of running?
I believe I got people in my favor, ain't it?
That doesn't make any difference. That doesn't make any difference.
No, he was going to
It's just like you're paying. If you want to eat around, seriously.
see it.
I'm not trying to make an argument out of it, but it just doesn't make sense to me that I pay for something as a member of a police department,
Right.
and
The
they
problem that
just
I
push me
have
to the side.
that we have a guest speaker, and
All right,
what's
I
happening
understand
is
that.
that he's not answering the question, and what he has not answered, what he felt.
That's what
Exactly right, that's right. But let me just say this, he was not charged departmentally. The jurisdiction is out of our hands. He didn't ask for union representation, and he was not charged by the department. He resigned. Upon resigning, he resigns his job, he resigns his pension. He gets 17 years of, pardon me? Right.
All right, so that's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, he wasn't. If he had been charged departmentally, we would have had to defend him under his employment rights.
Right.
But he wasn't.
Okay. That's what I'm just trying to find out, because the little bit I picked up on it, and to what you just told me, I didn't know anything about. So the only way I'm going to find out is by talking to you about it.
I appreciate that. We're out of time, and we have a busy hour ahead of us, so I would like to...
I'm fine. No, nobody else can look. Oh, can I give you, if you'd like? I'm also a member of the Vice Intelligence Squad, and the Vice Squad. And if you have any information, and what I would like to say is a lot of the information, good information we get is from the public. A lot of our good tips come from the public. If you know of something that's happening, and you're reasonably sure it's a drug house or sales of drugs or whatever, I'll give you a number to call, and that's 382-5252. It's an answering machine number, but we call everybody back that leaves their name and number. We call them all back. Because your assistance is needed in the fight against drugs, because we're actually throwing buckets of water into the ocean, or pulling buckets of water out trying to empty it. It's a losing cause. Without the help of the people, we've lost even more. It's heavy out there. We have a very bad drug problem in the city of Schenectady. And only by working together as a community and police, because we're only, we are only human, we are only police. And we would appreciate, I know myself, the 5 other members on the squad, we have a 6-member squad, would appreciate any help that you can give us. Your name will never be given out. Everything's held in confidence. Yes, sir.
Most time we don't have a follow-up, whatever the guy gets assumed. Most time it has been involved several times in their life. We don't know if he's going to jail or not.
Sure, we don't even know that. I don't know how to answer that, because I myself, or we ourselves in the police department, don't know what happens to the guy. Sometimes he goes to grand jury, sometimes they hold him out of grand jury. With the new district attorney, hopefully, knock on wood, he's trying to get things caught up.
If I may,
I don't know what to tell you on that one.
the Neighborhood Watch Program is stated establishing a court watcher program. We've got 4 people on the committee, and what they will do is contact the city courts and find out, and the criminal courts, whether the civil courts and the criminal court, to find out what's going on, what's the disposition of these cases. We can get that information by going down there. So, but if we're interested in things like this, then we should be doing it. We should be going down and finding out. It's public information. And the Gazette and the TV news can report everything. doing a presentation on burglary prevention. So if you would like to, if I can hand this over to Sergeant Yeager. Also, we'll be doing the announcement after his presentation.
Mark promised me a real dog and pony show. We had the dog, and there goes Mike Iacobucci, our pony man. I'm here to talk to you about burglary prevention, which is the basic premise of crime prevention, especially in the Schenectady area. One of our biggest crimes, our most frequent crimes, is burglary. So I have with me tonight a 30-minute movie that will outline basic crime prevention strategies that you can use to keep your house a little bit better, a little bit more safe. And after the movie's over, I'll go through a couple of the points that the movie might not cover. So
burglaries are prevented. Oh, I'm not going to try and tell you some crimes are harder to prevent than others. But crime prevention is not as impossible as some people might think it is. That was her second mistake. She should never have walked in the house. She sensed something was wrong and she was right. Now, pretty soon we'll find out what her first mistake was.
May I call your attention to the security survey form that my partner has just passed among you. In a few moments, we will go outside, we'll walk around the house and look for security weaknesses and make suggestions on how to correct them. We'll start where the burglar starts, which is usually where he meets his least resistance. By following the outline on the forms, you shouldn't have any difficulty in locating problem areas in need of immediate attention. And remember, with home security, you're not building a bank vault. All you need is sufficient deterrence to make the burglar go next door to another home that's a lot easier to get into. As much as we'd like to conduct a survey of every home in our jurisdiction, the majority of our time is required elsewhere.
And that was her first mistake. She held a neighborhood meeting in her home, learned how to secure home against burglary, but she failed to take the necessary steps to reduce the opportunity of her home being burglarized. Preventing crime in a neighborhood could be a tall order if people didn't know how to go about it. Reducing the opportunity for crime doesn't belong to law enforcement alone. It's everyone's responsibility. That means people like you and me working together and with our local law enforcement. Protecting our homes is as vital to personal safety as anything I can imagine. Once it's protected, it's a good feeling to not worry about stepping outside or staying home alone at night.
Folks, please come with us. We'll start our survey outside. That's where the burglar or the prowler first gets his look at your home. Let's see what attracts him. And please, bring your survey forms.
The first place to check is your shrubbery. Wow, look at those windows. A burglar could work all day behind those bushes and never be noticed. With just a few minutes of your time, you could stop that guy cold and never spend a dime doing it. And that's how easy it is. In just about every case, your good common sense is all you need to protect yourself and your family against most types of crimes. Try taking a stroll around your house. Checking it out like our Swedish friend over here. Well, let's see what's next on our survey form. Security lighting. Are you aware that lighting provides security and is actually one of the cheapest security installations in your home? Many homes use 100 watts or more in the front and rear yards. You can conserve some energy and still provide security by not using more than 40 watts at the front of the house and 60 watts at the rear. All you need is just enough light to see someone walking about your property at night. Now, if you live in an apartment house, condominium, or city tenement building, work with the owner or the manager by stressing the importance of lighting security. All entrances, walkways, and parking areas should be well lighted. Cover exposed light bulbs with a plastic cover or wire mesh to keep burglars, rapists, or vandals from removing them easily or breaking them. Nothing short of an armed guard is fail-safe, but should at least deter most malicious activities and, hopefully, a few major crimes. A 60-watt light bulb is usually sufficient for most detached garages. A small light out here will keep an intruder from working around your garage or property out back. Consider attaching a photoelectric device to the socket. This will conserve energy by allowing the light only to burn during darkness, and it will operate the light during your absence.
I've got a lot of faith in these things, but they're not going to do you a bit of good if you don't use them. I mean, really use them. Not just hanging them on any old hasp. Remember, a padlock is only as good as the hasp it's attached to.
Doesn't take much, does it? If your hasps are secured with screws, replace the screws with through bolts. I'm pretty sure you get the idea.
When you're not using your garage, lock it, and keep it locked. If you're going to be away for an extended time, park a car up next to the door, like this. Now, should an intruder break your outside locks, he still won't be able to open the door. Besides, the parked car indicates somebody may be home.
Now, I'm not saying there's enough tools on that wall to break into Fort Knox, but you can bet a burglar will find all the tools he needs to break into your home. After locking your car, and I mean just that, lock your car even when it's in the garage. Drop a couple of half-inch bolts down through these holes and keep our friend from getting past your padlock. You can also lock the sides of your door like this. Or this. All three are excellent ways of securing a garage door. Garage door openers have been known to save a life or two. If you ask me, I'd say they're a pretty good investment. If you're planning to be away for a while, be sure to secure the door from the inside before leaving. Good security may require a few changes in your lifestyle, but your home and its sometimes irreplaceable contents will be a lot safer from intrusion. If there's one thing homeowners don't have in common, it's their doors. The presence or absence of adjacent windows plays a big part